Okay, what's happening, my beautiful people? We back with another video. We here again. I'm getting consistent at this YouTube thing, so be proud of me. Come on, be proud of me. Today, I'm filming this the night before Valentine's Day. And so I thought, because of the occasion, that, I have to give you guys something a bit more lovey-dovey, you know what I'm saying? So I want to give you guys I'm 2 years married now, just to give context if you do not know me. I've been married for 2 years to my amazing wife, Haley, whom I love, my Mrs. Record. She's absolutely incredible. And I want to give you one piece of advice that somebody taught me that I've been trying to implement. Um, and I just believe it could be really important in marriage. I'm too early in my marriage, I believe, to know that how deeply important it is. But I believe it's really important, and so I'm trying to implement it, and hopefully I'll never find out how important it was because I'll always be doing it, if that makes sense. And so here's the principle. One of my mentors, spiritual mom, Dr. Sharon, and her husband Greg, who really I love so much. I love Greg so much. Maybe one day Greg will see this and he'll know how much I love him. He's amazing. But I love them both so much. And one of the principles they always had in their marriage is that I believe it's 10 days. So Dr. Chan travels all around the world. She's a minister. She travels to so many different countries. She gets invites all across the world to minister, to prophesy, etc., to train leaders, all that good stuff. And they have a rule that they can't go more than 10 days, I believe it is, without seeing each other. And so if she has to spend 2 weeks in a country or she has to go from one country to another country, he will plan a trip so that that 10-day window is never crossed. Yeah, so that they always are with each other in that 10-day period. And like, I'll be honest, I don't fully understand the depth of why that's important, but I'm implementing it. And I can imagine why it's important. And so I'm going to attempt to communicate it to you as I imagine it. One, this is a person you love, right? And if you love somebody, you want to spend time with them. Now, of course, we would understand that based on work, based on all these other types of things, there may be situations where, you don't spend time together, and that should be understandable. But I believe the reason why this rule exists is because of the scripture that says, and for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. I believe that word cleave is the reason why rules like this in your marriage are extremely important. Now, is it possible to go months at a time without seeing each other? Yes. Should you do it? Probably not. And that word cleave, my definition of that word cleave is I'm going to do whatever it is in my power to keep us close together, to keep us connected, to keep us intertwined, to keep our lives intertwined, to keep this thing locked in. Um, the Bible talks about how can two walk together unless they agree. And I think there's something about distance. People say it makes the heart grow fonder, and it does to a degree. But I believe that if you spend too much time apart, you can start to live separate lives. And living separate lives is a sense of disconnection. But why do I believe that this is important? Having a rule like this. I believe having a rule like this is extremely important because the lovey-dovey times, moments like that, it's really nice to be together in the same room. It's really nice to plan to connect and all of that. But there's one thing that goes on in marriage, and that's that your spouse is going to get on your nerves. That is guaranteed. And it could be possible that your spouse is going to get on your nerves for weeks at a time. It could be very possible. It could be possible that you spend a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months saying, God help me forgive this this spouse of mine. God help me forgive this wife. God help me forgive this husband, or whatever you may be praying. Because that person has the privilege of being so close to you. And also with that privilege comes great pain because they have the power to poke at things that you didn't even know was there. Words be coming out of you. Not particularly, well, not me, but hey, because no, I'm kidding. Stuff be coming out of you, be acting in ways you never expected to be acting. You be reacting in ways you be walking out of rooms. You're like, what, storming out of rooms and doing this and slamming, bro. Marriage can get wild. And so I understand why people are too scared or not ready for that level of commitment, or honestly, why people quit it. But I believe this cleaving principle is so important when you're mad. And it's even more important when you're mad than when you're not mad. And from a scriptural perspective, it says that a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. So there's a male responsibility to cleave. There's a male responsibility to pull on you, to grab close and to make sure he's close to you. Why? Because I believe this world is wired in a way to distract men. I actually believe this world is wired in a way to derail men from things like marriage, commitment, family, and all these types of things. I actually believe this world is wired like that. Like this, that like the culture of the world is made to mess up the committed man. And so it's even more important that you cling on. I said it in a YouTube video with my wife. There are women who actually want you because you're married. That's even more reason to cling. There are billboards and advertisements and all these wild things everywhere of these women who are hardly wearing anything. There are even women nowadays, or a woman, should I say, who is trying to do world records of how many people she slept with in a particular in a night. It's a madness. There is pornography everywhere. This stuff is wild and it's getting more wild and more wild and more wild. And the male brain is extremely overstimulated, and it takes cleaving to your spouse, throwing those things to the side, cleaving to your spouse, and really cleaving to God, to ensure that you get to where you need to get to. Marriage is the greatest commitment any man can make. And I believe it requires some dying to self. In fact, a lot of dying to self. In fact, if you want to accomplish marriage at all, dying to self is going to be a priority of yours. But one of the ways you die to self is going closer to somebody that's frustrating you instead of moving away. Have you ever, maybe this is a good illustration. So let's say you're having an amazing relationship with God, you're worshiping, you're having great prayer times and all this, and you get in this downward spiral where you sin and you start to sin and things go ways you didn't intend them to go. You're making these mistakes, and there's a guilt that comes with that. And that guilt and shame starts to make you pull away from God. It starts to make you feel like, oh, I actually prefer to be this distance away from the camera instead of this close, actually. I'm gonna stay here right now. That sin, that guilt, that shame actually starts to pull you away from God. It makes you feel like I can't pray like I used to. I can't do this like I used to. I can't give to God what I used to give to him because I'm this. I'm not right. And those are the times you need to grab God even closer. Those are the times you need to pull on him even more. And I find that in marriage, and I'm attempting to do this, guys. I'm 2 years in. I've got a gajillion years to go of attempting to do this and hopefully getting this right. But I find that in marriage, those are the times you need to do it even more. When you feel like when you're mad, when you're upset, when things are not working out, when that person is not listening to you, when they are not doing what you say, when they're not working as a team, when they're having their moments of selfishness, when they're having crazy outbursts that don't make no sense, when they're doing a whole bunch of mad stuff, when they ain't following the plan and the program, which happens, those are the times you got. I'm just gonna keep doing that. You just gotta grab on and be like, I am not letting the madness that's going on right now stop me and you from being intimate. I'm not going to let the madness that's going on right now stop me and you from having a deep connection. You may not even want to talk to me right now. I may not even want to talk to you, but I'm going to hug you. I'm going to look you deep in your eyes. I'm not going to avoid eye contact because now I'm mad at you. I'm going to try and really get my eyes in there. I am going to try my best to put my feelings aside and keep the connection good. Because I don't know about you, I don't know if you're married watching this or been in a relationship and you start to give the other person that cold shoulder because of what they're doing. I'm a culprit of that. Sometimes I pull away. My wife's just stressing me out. I'm like, whatever, bro. I just pull away. But I remind myself, get back in there. Get back in there. We got work to do. This is forever. So we got work to do today. And so happy Valentine's Day to anyone who's watching this on Valentine's Day. Happy marriage for anybody who's watching this married. Happy relationship to anybody who's watching this in a relationship. Happy engagement for anybody who's watching this engaged. Happy single for anybody who's watching this single. I believe men need to learn how to really cling on to their wives. There's a lot of madness going on in this world, and that is supposed to be your safe space. And sometimes, I'll be real, it don't feel like a safe space. But don't let the feelings determine what it is. Sow the seeds of what you want it to become. My wife has become such a beautiful safe space for me. A beautiful safe space for me. There's words that she speaks over me and prayers that she prays over me that literally are the reason why I feel like I have the spring in my step to conquer the day. It wasn't always like that. You know, I remember the first 6 months of marriage. If I told her certain things, I was feeling weak, I was feeling low, she'll come back to me and tell me, well, now that you told me that, I just don't feel confident that we're going to have enough money in our bank account this month. I'm trying to tell her I'm trying to tell her that I'm feeling scared about this new business opportunity or that business ain't working out well. And she's like, well, now you see everything, how are we going to make it through Bro, I needed some comfort right now. I needed a safe space. But now your fears are hitting me and da 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 da. But over time, we trust God so much better together and we create space now to listen to one another. I did as best as I could of a job of creating space to listen to her. And sometimes she'll talk for a long time. Wife, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes she'll talk for a long time. But I did the best I could to make space for her and sow those seeds. And I'm watching her now make space for me. She listens to me. She cares for me. She she prays for me, and I love her prayers. She knows I love my wife's prayers. They're like one of my favorite things in the whole world, honestly. And we're really trying to do life together. You know, we've had moments where we felt like, you know, two different ships, you know, sailing in different directions. We're really trying to do life together in this season, and it's working, and we're seeing God come through for us. And so this video is over 10 minutes. You know, I like to try and keep them to the 10-minute mark, but moral of the story is I believe that there is a responsibility on the married man to cling to that wife. Don't let her go. When you feel frustrated, when you feel lonely, don't be one of those guys who says, I'm going out for fresh air, and you just disappear and you just take off. Stay in that house. Stay in that house angry. Control your anger issues, okay? So that you don't do anything silly. And stay in that house. You know, be close to her. Be close to her. Be close to your family. And yeah, I believe that as you do that, you stay close to God and you intentionally stay close to your wife even when you're mad. I think you avoid a lot of drama. You avoid a lot of problems. You avoid a lot of unnecessary temptation in your life. So I hope this video helped. Hope you found it useful. Always remember, watch these at your own risk. I ain't forcing you to watch nothing. But I hope it's helpful. And we'll be back again. I filmed 2 videos today, so we're getting a bit of a backlog going on, which I'm super happy about as well. We'll be back next time. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's see when we hit 100 subscribers. We may have hit it by now. Who knows? Until next time.